Alright, I wanted to take a diversion on this video from baseball cards and autographs and other things that I've been collecting recently, and I wanted to do not a Star Wars video this time. Somebody had said maybe I should, show off my Star Wars figurines. I'm not sure if I've done that. It's still difficult for me to get that stuff kind of in focus and to show off how good a condition some of it is. And I've got gobs and gobs of that, so I don't know if I can do it in stages or if I ever gonna get around to showing it. But I wanted to show off some vinyl records here and wanted to give you the reasons. I just grabbed a random pile from one spot and two records from another spot. I am just really thankful that I had got most of my records during and before the record boom, but not during this crazy record boom, and the record boom is also based on stuff from overseas where you can't get ridiculous prices. One of the companies that I like buying records from, I haven't bought anything direct from them, is that a lot of stuff comes from overseas, and not China necessarily, but they had some hoodies for sale, and I said, I'm just curious what a hoodie is going to cost. $80 for a hoodie with a very basic logo on it, $80. But they got people over a barrel, and people will pay that in some cases. I'm not paying $80 for a hoodie, not even $8 for a hoodie. If I saw that at a thrift store, that exact same one, it was $8, like, sure, but if it, weigh pros and cons and sort of thing. So I want to show you what I got, and we'll start off with one of my buddy's favorite artists here. If you watch my channels enough, you'll know who that is. These I got from a record store that closed right during the pandemic. They were, essentially retirement age, and they wanted to be done with it. But if they had stayed in, they would have all kinds of really awesome things that happen, but they would also have a lot of headaches too. The whole Taylor Swift thing in Record Store Day really took off, and all kinds of things that basically boosted, music to, like, there's music that they were giving away for $1 back then is now $10 a pop. It's just absolutely and then everything shot right out of a cannon. So these records, this one is on exclusive sky blue vinyl, which I've never opened. It was originally $25.75, but it got down to $9.75. It might have actually been cheaper than that because when they were going out of business, a lot of stuff was 60% off. Finding anything Morrissey for California Sun is very, very overproduced. I say overproduced, but it's one of the lesser expensive ones still. But something like this is like a $30 vinyl. See, again, back then, $25.75, so they were right on the money there. And again, $9.75. I have the article of the record store that went out of business. It had just been, a staple of my area for a long time. We didn't realize was the best record store, one of the best record stores on the planet. I mean, say the planet, but planet of Oregon. And they're gone, and nobody could fill that void. They were huge Elvis Costello fans and had a big, a stained glass Elvis Costello on the window. Very, very cool. But California Sun Morrissey, and I've never opened it. There's the back of it. So there is that one there. You get a little bit of stuff there. Again, it's not, produced, recorded in Los Angeles, California, 2018. So that was a little bit ago. Then I got another Morrissey one here. Get this one out of the way here. And again, I've never showed these. I don't think I may have shown a video a way back ago, but these have not been re-shown since then. This is Morrissey Low in High School. X the Monarchy right there, and then this was $24.75. Back then, that was a lot of money to pay for an LP. A lot. They were right on that dollar. And this is the green vinyl. Includes download, all that sort of stuff there. And then here is the back of it. My parents are a handful. Again, I don't know a lot of Morrissey's newer stuff. Again, I do not profess to be a Morrissey expert or a Smiths expert. I have 0 Smiths in my collection. I want to say 0. Not even a 45. I got to rectify that at some point. But you just got to draw the line, because I watched, Concert Buddy and his friends, and they're just going on about stuff way above beyond. I guess, if you basically stay focused, you'll have money for records, but I don't stay focused and I have 0 money for records. And then again, as I said, a lot of these things were purchased way before any kind of, some of them were really recent, like this one, Urban Cowboy 2. I didn't even know there was an Urban Cowboy 2. Trying to get this in frame here again. I have a problem here when I can't get it all in there. I'm going to scoot this back a little farther. Urban Cowboy 2. Again, this is when Goodwill was still selling LPs for $1.29 a piece. They still have it on their sign, and they'll still sell them for $1.25 or $29 if they come in. Weird price, because we don't have taxes or anything, so $1.29 is a weird number. But, and I don't know what their thinking was, but if they do come in, they still sell them for that price. But 99.999% of all the vinyl goes to be processed in another location. So and people are saying the exact same thing all over the United States. Goodwill bins and their main stores virtually sell no vinyl. I heard somebody found like a $600 vinyl at another thrift store, but I'm not sure, vinyl record, but I'm not sure what that was, and he didn't know until he kind of looked it up and sort of thing. So I need to rectify that. I need to be able to look up stuff on my phone so I know what I'm looking at. I can't look up everything, and I don't think I've ever got a chance to play this. Lots of country music, J.D. Souther, Mickey Gilley, Charlie Daniels, Bayou City Beats, and all that fun stuff there. So again, this was one that people are passing on, and I said, let me grab this. There's a little piece of a Goodwill sticker or something that used to be on there, was just kind of something that got on there. It'll come right off there, but this is on Epic, and again, I just grabbed it because, again, where are you going to find this stuff anymore? I know some people are finding, some guy did a video and found all kinds of rock that was, average condition for $1. I don't see that anywhere. Those same rock records where I'm at are $10 or $15 each. And again, this is one that nobody would care about back in the day. Say, oh, that's just the 80s garbage. But you know what? That's what people are wanting these days. The people that were the experts were not the experts. I said, I don't care if you're an expert. I'm buying this. Till Tuesday, Voices Carry. That's Amy Mann right there. I had an art professor that was a dead ringer for Amy Mann. I don't remember what her name was, but it could have been, for all I know, Amy Mann. It was just crazy. She just showed up to work or school like that, exactly like that, and then after a short while she just changed her total look there. I don't know if she was goth or what the heck, but went from blonde, to not blonde or something like that. So I don't know, too many other professors hitting on her or something like that. I have no idea. Very unusual and interesting teacher that was kind of like stuck in the 80s or 90s. It was so super weird. It wasn't that far from the 90s, but the 2000s, not 2000s. Then we have another Till Tuesday, so I grabbed a bunch of the T section there. Everything's different now. And there's that one there, and I don't remember exactly the song on here. That was the good one there. But again, some of the records I did not know or care or what have you. And then this one here is Johnny Tillotson. Again, condition did not bother me at all. If there was a mark on it, if there was some damage to it, if the vinyl wasn't super mint, Johnny Tillotson, I believe he signed an autograph for me, but I was not going to send this one here. So I've really not listened to this one here. It's got Danke Schoen, Danke Shane, All Alone Am I, Blowing in the Wind, Blue Velvet, Can't Stop Loving You, and others. And so basically, he just didn't have his own songs. He did other people's songs there. But Johnny Tillotson, I think he might still be alive. I'm not 100% sure there. But it was just kind of interesting, kind of like, I would say a heartthrob back then. But something that I grabbed here. And again, I would grab things that I had no idea what it was. People were not looking stuff on their phones. This got a corner clip here. This is called Thunder Mug, ta-da. And unfortunately, the corner clip makes it, not super valuable, but at one time this was like $75 and this is brand new factory sealed. I don't know what it is or what the deal was. Somebody tried to sell that for $2. And there was a bunch of brand new sealed LPs like Samantha Sang and this one that came out, and several people got some of these, but I guess I kind of missed on it. This guy looks super familiar. The guy with the mustache here looks super familiar. I'm not exactly sure who he is, but he could be from another group there. And then I don't know, I just grabbed this Three Sons on a magic carpet, and I kind of enjoyed it, and it was just kind of a fun vintagey type of cover. The Three Sons are just an ancient band, and my friend was like geeking out because he's like, oh, you like the Three Sons? Oh my gosh. And you can see their little stereos and things there that just kind of accessories or whatever. Nothing special with that one there, but I just had to grab it. It's not in very mint condition either, probably. Yeah, no, it's okay, but I mean, you see, it looks like, oh, that's mint, but no, there's scuffs and things on it and spine splits and everything. But again, where I live and when I got that, it's probably 50 cents when I got that, so it's not a big deal. Here's another one that used to be just everywhere on the planet, but again, I wanted a copy of it and I got it when I could afford it. And it's Three Dog Nights 1. That's one that's panned by everybody because that's one of my favorite songs there. And again, it's not particularly mint. But I said, it's really hard for me to justify getting all these mint ones here if one is going to play good enough for me. And I'm not really worried that a mint cover there. And the thing is that, I figured all these guys thrashed them. They gave them more authenticity. Somebody loved it and enjoyed it, and then they pass it on to me. I'll take that torch there. And then we got the Thompson Twins, again, that was another one that wasn't super valuable because, oh yeah, 80s stuff is super produced, and it's on CD, and it's on cassette, and sort of thing there, so they just didn't, but it has the original hype sticker on it, and the original plastic, and I said, I'm going to grab that. Again, for me to get each one of these things is a good $10 to $20 each. Depending on the condition sort of thing. I just don't feel like going back and repurchasing all of these. When you have 2,000 records, I may actually have that. This one here was only purchased because Hank Thompson and his band had autographed it. So, especially for you Hank Thompson and the Brazos Valley Boys. I do not really care for, a lot of ancient country music, but I grabbed that one. You can see it's got some damage to the front of it there, but Hank Thompson and the Brazos Valley Boys have autographed it right there. There's 1, 2, and 3. It looks like 3 people have signed it. There might be another autograph somewhere, but I think that's exactly where that is. So I figured, grab that. Then I was at a swap meet, and I believe this is where I got this one. I'm not sure, or maybe it was a Goodwill. And then somebody was like, oh, that's a good one, you should give that to me, because they're going to sell reggae. They said their brother or friend or something was huge into reggae, but I don't know if this is super valuable, but I just grabbed it because you don't have enough reggae in your collection or whatever, and I figured, when I'm going to get that, I never find reggae, ever. It was one of the few times I ever found one that was actually in good condition. Am I going to listen to this one, Third World, Prisoner in the Street? Probably not, but I said, just get it. Just get it, because, and then this one here is one of my favorite ones. I thought I had written to one of the guys in the band there, but I never heard back, so it's like, pooey. I think it's got When It Rains on here. Yeah, 10-10, When It Rains. It was one of my favorite songs for a long time, but it kind of fell out of favor because, I don't know, I just thought maybe I'd been dissed by the guy. Who knows? Maybe I didn't send it to the right person, but 10-10 and When It Rains. I don't know why that song didn't get more popular. It's huge, awesome song on Chrysalis. I think that's how you pronounce that there. And it's also a promotional one. I don't remember exactly where I got this, but when I found it, it's like, oh my gosh, I have to have it. This is mine. And we got about 5 or 6 more to go here. And then this came out sometime during the Heck Breaks Loose time. And this was Tears for Fears. It was originally, oh my gosh, it was marked down a couple times at Tower Records, down to like $6 back in the day. But Tears for Fears, The Hurting, and it was brand new factory sealed. Now this is very, very condition sensitive and very, very, it's hard to explain, but people are asking crazy money for it. Then I'm finding that are not, but it's got The Hurting, Mad World on it, so you know that one there. I'm trying to think of what else you might know there. Stuff, yeah, things, so... so I just think that's really cool. It's not, again, I wouldn't think it was super valuable, but I just totally geeked out when I found it. And again, it doesn't look like anything. Somebody was just flipping through the records and think that was a classical music record, because people look at the cover first before reading it. Then we got another one here that's got some tape issues here, and it was actually not terrible. I want to say this is James Taylor's brother, if I'm not mistaken, but this is Livingston Taylor. And I said, you know what, I've never seen that album ever in my lifetime. And it was only $1 to swap meet. Somebody was clearing out their vinyl records, and then the next month they were $2. And I haven't even looked at the $2 ones. I just didn't have time or money to do so. Then the next guy over wants $5 for all his, the same ones that the person does are $2. But a lot of the $2 ones had issues, but for $1, I'm just going to take a chance all day long. And it actually played really, really well there. And it's not super valuable, but it's, again, something I've never seen in my entire lifetime. And I said, you know what, and I was actually pretty impressed with that particular record album, so happy with that one there. Then we have Everybody Twist with Johnny McGee and his International Twisters. Again, who doesn't, hate, a copy of the Twist, the Grand Prix series. Again, these are things that musical enjoyment for the entire family. I think I probably listened to it one time or never, but, it's really rough there. But again, these things, I just buy because they're so cheap. That if I got cheated out of it, then I can always eventually replace it if I really like it. Then of course we got the tubes here, and I found this many years ago. This might have been an upgrade copy, I don't really remember, but scuffing and stuff like that would bother a lot of record collectors, and they would not really go for it. But again, it's one of these average condition ones, but the vinyl was actually really pretty good and clean there, playable. So again, it's got Talk to You Later, I think. I'm not sure. Yeah, Talk to You Later, and then it's got, I don't remember, a couple other songs that I really liked on here, but I don't like all of the Tube stuff, but I think this is really the Completion Backward Principle is the only one I really cared for. So there was that one there. I'm going to get a few more here. Tanya Tucker, because why wouldn't you want 70s country there? There's old young Tanya right there. So there's that one there. And this is probably from like 75, 76. I don't know when this was. 1970. It looks like 75. So yeah, troubled kid there, but that's probably what made her songs better. I don't really know. There's old Tanya right there. So that one. Again, this one here, there was a record sale and everything good was pulled out of it. Everything. There was nothing good. There was virtually no rock and roll, but there was a lot of everything there. So Trombones Unlimited, and it actually is not terrible on Liberty. I really just think the cover is pretty weird. And then that one there, and I actually enjoyed this. Sunshine Superman, Dandy, Turn Down Day, Hurt So Bad, Sunny, Last Train to Clarksville. I saw her again last night. Baubles, Bangles, and Beads. So yeah, interesting stuff there. So I liked that one there, and I just, again, cover got me kind of, tricked into buying that, and it was a whole $1 for that one. Then I found this one not too long ago, a couple years ago at a thrift store. It all beat to heck, but where are you going to find Surfin' Bird, the Trashmen, after the Family Guy episode there, and I used to find this on 45, but finding the cover, full LP there in any condition, it was a whole $1 for this one. I was very happy to take it. People like, well, I already have that copy, or that's not very valuable and stuff like that, and looking online, it's like, yes, it was. So very happy to have this. Again, Surfin' Bird, King the Surf, Miserlou is on there, Malaguena, another good one there, It's So Easy. So I've got to listen to this at some point there. Very cool to have that one. And that's the last one I want to show in today's video. Again, all my videos become 17 to 25 minutes. I can't help it, but I wanted to go through some records, and maybe I'll do some more of that because I can't get a record to save my life to bring, any kind of joy to this channel. So I'm going to show you old records that I may have shown or may have never shown, and thank you for watching.